supporting local sport. We're very proud sponsors of a range of footy teams, soccer teams, AFL teams around the country, particularly regionally where they need most of our help. Give our team at EA Group a call. We've got all your TSAP, crushers, screeners, trommels, and as you can see, everything else that you need to be able to load these wonderful machines. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be on the show.
At KJY Electrical you are guaranteed that perfect job from our local Sparky Kyle. Support local business that supports the Northern Footy Show. Call Kyle today for a quote on 0419638241. Let him know you love the Footy Show for your discount.
Have you ever seen a roo kick? Have you ever seen an emu run under the bright Aussie skies and said this year we'll be the one? Oi, oi, oi! What does it mean to be a part of a footy team? It's more than a game. The footy's in our veins. It's time to go. It's the Northern Footy Show. Get out of our way. We wanna see them play.
Hello and welcome to the Northern Footy Show. I am Darren Compton, as usual. My little compadre, Matty Bonadeo, joins us. Bonners, we've had to do this from home today. The internet's gone down in the studio, but getting to have a red wine a fraction earlier than normal on a Wednesday night, mate. Welcome tonight from home, albeit.
Yeah, no, it's good to be home in some ways, but I got coughing, sneezing, screaming kids. So sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it's nice to be out of the home, but yeah, a nice night to be home sitting in the warmth, I think. So
it is. Well, Bonners, there's a lot to talk about. So in some respects, I'm glad it's gone the way it's gone because we're not really scheduling too many more guests over the next couple of weeks. We've got a big show in 2 weeks where we film live with the legends and our special panel there. Tonight is all about talking footy because the end of the season is going to hot right up now. Bonners, before we do that, let me go to a couple of notes here. On a huge congratulations to Nick Lynch. He has signed as the senior coach for McLeod today for 2 years. Ex-premiership player, club legend, been involved at the club forever, a fantastic appointment. So we absolutely congratulate Nick and McLeod on that. In addition to that, West Heidelberg's gone the same, and they've reappointed Dale Main. He's re-signed for another year, and good on him. I think he's done a lot of good things this year, and having a year with those boys under his belt, it'll be good for them to hear the same voice next year and get cracking. So congratulations to Dale. And then the Destination Club's Joel Cordwell goes out and says, bang, 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 I'll have 2 years as well. And I'd say Baz just open the checkbooks. Let's start a rumor. 120 grand he got to coach down at Hurstbridge for the next 2 years, and dial-up internet was thrown in for free. So there's some very good appointments. We spoke about this, Bonners, didn't we, a few weeks ago, about being the right time to start re-signing people. Kilmore's done the same. Bang, 2 re-signings already. Liam Monaghan and Brian Lawrence, bang, signed for 2025.
And they'd already signed Derek a few weeks ago. So so there's a few, probably more coming out the next few weeks. I think you'll find that, especially coaches, I think around now is the time to say, well, we're going to have the same coach that's going to continue. It's time to lock them in, especially the ones not playing finals. And then you can start to work towards players, because I think understanding or knowing who the coach is going to be has always been, from my own case as well, is it just gives you a little bit more confidence in what you're actually doing.
When's the right time, Bonners? Let's assume you're the coach of Bonadeo Football Club right now, And, at what stage of the season you played high-level footy, you played VFL footy, you're on an AFL list. At what stage are people talking to you? And then if you're a coach in that situation now, at what stage do you think I need to start re-signing some guys and locking my musts away for next year?
I think the pretty simple answer is as soon as finals is out of contention. I think the planning then goes into the next year. I think when you're in finals, it's a little bit harder. You still talk to boys and say, look, what's your intentions, and get a grasp of what's going on. But definitely all the teams outside who can't make it, those who are actually mathematically still able to do it, you're kind of a little bit up and down on that. So you can wait a little bit longer for that to happen. But teams that that aren't going to, you've really got to lock in those core players. I know at Preston with us, it was every year around, because, not playing a lot of finals, around the, mid-July region to early August was when everything was locked away. More of an idea, and then they kind of you finalised your contract after the year. It's around that time that you're trying to look at. If you're not involved in finals, to me, it's essential. Get your coach, get your core players, and then start to look at recruiting.
Yeah, Bono, I know from experience myself, when I played footy, people start, this is the poaching hour, I call it, right? Yeah. So what happens, people start looking who's had a good season, who's a good up-and-comer, who's at the end of their career in Division 1 that we can really top up with in Division 2 and 3. Let's use Nipper Marshall as an example for last year. So this time right now is really important. And my honest opinion is clubs that haven't started re-signing people, you might want to get the skates on in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because I think it's going to be a huge off-season for movement. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and look, what you find is we spoke to a mate of mine, Macca, a couple of months ago when I was at the game, and he had the same idea. It's you don't start recruiting at the end of the year. You kind of find out, okay, where do clubs sit? People know everyone in each other in this industry, so you get a pretty good idea of who's looking to leave. When you're in Div 1, you really got to look at the VFL teams, who's kind of had enough of VFL and wants to come back to local footy.
Yep.
You go out to other leagues, high leagues, and say, well, we've got a refresh in the group. What do we need? So recruiters now need to sit down and that's what we talk about, putting the players in, because as soon as you lock in your players, you then need to know what gaps you need to fill. Okay, what do we need? Do we need a hard-on baller? Probably need another big man. Our backline needs strengthening up. We don't have a rebound half back. We don't have a wingman that can run all day. We're too young. We need probably a couple of experienced players, or we need now to start to refresh and start to get young. So I think you've always the good teams will always have an eye on something. But I think you need to lock in your players first. And then what gaps you need to fill.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I actually think there's some guys that have already made their decision where they're going next year. I'm sure throughout the 3 divisions, there's going to be a handful that already had planned to go and play with a brother, a cousin, a nephew, or whatever, or finish their career. There'll be a certain amount of people that are calling it a day. So that will leave some voids as well. But on the other hand, there's a lot of good young talent. Under 19 sides have been pretty strong. 17 sides are looking to go to Division 1 clubs. And I think that there's a lot going on there. All right, Bonners, couple of last things before we jump into it. Women's finals, Div 1, 2, 3 start this weekend. So good luck to all the women's finals. It's going to be a fantastic competition across the 3 there. I'm looking forward to those results. Kira's away. That's why there was no show the other day. And Liv's a bit beaten up. They had a bloody hard game last weekend, but the girls will be back shortly. Junior finals start this Sunday as well. As we get closer to the end of the junior finals, we might try and get a couple of coaches involved in the show as well. But, really open to all the feedback on that. Now, tonight, one thing I'm really looking forward to doing, Bonners, is challenging you. I'm not giving my tips this week because, although I'm telling you, I'm not tipping Lorimer, Jimmy. It's all right. I'm definitely not tipping Lorimer.
And Mernda either, because Fletch will be all over you.
Fletch who? If Fletch wants a crack, come and see me, mate. I'll get him covered. Till we're in person. All right, now, Divi 3, I want to go through some really tight games here, Bonners. Let's jump straight into Divi 3. Fitzroy Stars Epping, 1st versus 5th, and Epping have Old Eltham in 6th, right up there, clacker. This is going to be a really important game. And if Epping want to play finals, they probably need to win this. Is that a fair call?
Oh, look, it is a fair call, but we still haven't got the consistency of Old Eltham, to be honest. So I still think you've got a couple of games up your belt. You look at these ones and go, if you can snag this one, it's a big thing. But it's at Fitzroy. It's at Northcote, I think, this game.
It is.
So
Yeah,
it's a massive difference, even just in general. The team itself is amazing at Fitzroy Stars. But, you know, and on the home turf there, I think we've had other teams, other guys come in on the Sunday wrap and just said they're just a massively different team at home. So, look, Epping would be great if they could snag it. I just don't see it happening. I still think it's at least a 5-6 goal game for the Fitzroy Stars.
All right. Well, important one. The Kinglake Kilmore. Kilmore are done now. They won't play finals. We know that. And Kinglake, well, they're in the same thing. But is this a respect game? Try and gain a little bit of respect for your season. Is that a fair call? Kilmore are probably the best.
In third division, it's a little bit different when you're lower into the scale. You're not looking at relegation. You're just trying to look at getting what you can get out of the end of the year. So I sometimes feel like it's almost a nothing game. And if you take it that way, these are games that someone like Kilmore could really drop when, they could really drop these type of games with Kinglake saying, well, we're at home. We've actually had a good run the last few weeks. We're starting to play better footy. Where Kilmore's like, we're going to miss finals now. So it's a danger game. I still think Kilmore get over the line, but I would not be surprised if actually Kinglake got over the top of them.
Well, then you got Heidelberg West and Old Eltham. So Old Eltham win this one. All of a sudden, they're back equal with Epping if Epping were to lose. Percentage, I think Epping's got them just. So, it'll be an important game nonetheless. But Heidelberg West probably expected a little bit more from them this season. And as we said earlier, congratulations to Dale Main. But, it wouldn't hurt West to get a win out of this.
It's probably one of the games you'd almost sit there and think they're probably going to win this just because that expectation. But if Old Eltham are serious, this is a game that you don't lose. You just don't lose these games coming into finals. You can't lose to sides below you and you have to try and challenge teams above you. That's the only way you're going to push yourself up. So I'd be extremely disappointed if Old Eltham lost this one. And I can't see it happening, but you can't lose to teams below you when you're really pushing up for finals, especially with Epping, coming against Fitzroy Stars. You've got an opportunity now to get even.
Laylaw, Ivanhoe at Laylaw. Now, I know Laylaw's second last, and you would think Ivanhoe's, all good to go there, and they should be. This is a good test because important for Ivanhoe as well because they're sitting fourth on 36 points. You got Epping right up their bum, but they could sort of jump straight into third position. Mernda's got the bye this week, so they could they might be able to sneak into third if they have a good percentage game.
Yeah, I think we're on Sammy Watch now, aren't we, for Laylaw? We want Sammy on the show, so we should
I've
get
tried.
on to
I've tried.
Do
you know what he said to me?
Boys. If he doesn't get on the show by the end, he has to do 2 spins of the wheel, I reckon. I reckon the boys need to get up in for that because it's just an amazing effort. Just amazing effort to be top of the goal kicking. So, look, I hope they go well. I hope he kicks 4 or 5, really cements his spot for the goal kicking. I think he deserves it. I think it's been amazing what they've done. But one same thing I had with Old Eltham as I do with Ivanhoe. Massively great organisation. Pete and all those guys have got them running really well. Shieldsy, they've got to kick these goals. Now, this is where I'm going to be watching the score. So I think I've been critical on their ability to kick big scores. Yeah. So this will be an interesting game, but I still they win easy. But I'll be more interested in the what score they can kick. For me, I think I've been pretty consistent the whole year. The teams that can kick a bigger score, they're the ones that you're going to worry about comes finals times because their potency forward. You can kick goals of 4 or 5 in a go. So this is not a game I don't see Eltham losing, but as I said, we're still on Sammy Watch.
Couple of things to that is I reckon Ivanhoe have improved considerably with their kicking, so I think they're turning it around at the right season. Excellent outcome to be sitting 4th and going to play finals in their first season up. Now, Sam,
shout out to the club too, coming across from another league to come in. Them who we got Old Eltham's been there for a little bit as well, Old Paradian. So I tip my hat to the organisations and say, it did take you a while to get used to it. You're starting to get used to it now, but I just think what you guys have brought to Divi 3 or Northern Footy League in general has been amazing. So I can't fault them and all that.
No, they've been fantastic. Now, Sam, right? I spoke to Sam the other day. Sammy, come on the show. No. Why? He said, because honestly, Darren, the amount of attention I get from the ladies if I come on the show is just insane.
Have you told him you've been on for ages and no one can stand the side of you or what? So
he goes, I don't want to make you blokes look ugly, so I'm not coming on.
Well,
he's a lovely guy. A question without notice. If you're Mernda or you're a Lorimer, let's say Lorimer, right? Lorimer managed to hang on. Do you go and chase a Sam Rex Epi?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If that's what you're missing, if you're missing a full forward, you go to where you can find the full forwards. Proven goal kicker, whether it's third division or not. He's kicking goals against Fitzroy Stars. He's kicking against Ivanhoe. He's kicking against these top sides, which, you know, they go up next year. I still think they're going to be damn competitive in second division. They could be this year. So absolutely you go and chase him. If he's the guy that can take you to the next level, you don't leave any stone unturned. And I think I've said in the past that you have to recruit to what you need to fit into the next division. So
I agree. If I'm coaching a Lorimer or someone like that in second division, I think Sam's an outstanding forward, and I know he probably won't want to leave Laylaw. He's a proud Laylaw man, but you know he's also perhaps European like you, Matt. You don't like the mind the cha-ching here and there, but in all seriousness, he's a fantastic footballer, and you know he's not getting any younger, but he's a star. He should be picked up. All right, Mernda.
Just quickly before that, he's got that strut around him, that intimidating factor. And I remember quite a few years ago, a man that kicked just as quite a few goals wearing the same jumper that was very intimidating for the Laylaw Footy Club. So they do have the potential to bring these guys that you just stay out of their way. So it would be a magnificent addition to any footy team, I reckon.
Now, we talk about where's Wally. I want to know where's Xavier. I haven't seen Xavier for a while. He hasn't piped up on the show, Xavier. He's given me nothing. I got donuts. So where's Xavier? We're going to put a where's Wally's jumper on him. Mernda, Old Prady and Reservoir have the bye. Pretty defining because Mernda's sitting third, can drop. Fletch won't have any of that, but they could drop down one as well. And then they've got a pretty tough last game. All right, let's move on. Now, Bonners. One thing I've been impressed with this year that I want to bring up and is I think crowd behaviour this year for the games I've been to has been amazing. I think these old day fights at footy are done and dusted. I'm actually really impressed how cleaned up it is at the moment. It's a safe environment. You don't see, I haven't seen any blues, you know, well, on the field, there's a couple, but they're supposed to be. But I haven't seen anything in the crowds this year or anything that worried me at all. And I think that's a testament to the crowd, the viewers, the fans, and probably even the league. It's been well monitored. The message has been sent out pretty well. So fantastic.
I reckon also, too, there's a lot more. Back in our day, once you're at a footy team, it was very difficult to leave, and there was that massive rivalry. But I reckon now with so many players who've got mates at different, I mean, every time we speak to someone on a Sunday, they know blokes from about 10 different teams. So I reckon that those years are gone, and I reckon that people just know each other a lot more now. So I think there's a lot more, team respect, people respect, and I think they have watered out the idiots, which, let's face it, that's what they are. We have had a couple of incidents, but to me, the way they've been handled is the reason why things are going so well. They're not tolerated. They will not be tolerated. People will not be accepting of that behaviour. So I think that's the best part of it.
No, I totally agree. Now, we just before we go to Division 2, the game has been moved for from Whittlesea. So the finals for Whittlesea have been moved to Laylaw, which is great for the club. Best canteen in the league. I'm not going to cop any black. That can't ain't standing. I'm just going there for the food. I'm not even watching footy. Hence why I'm fat. But so it's been moved, but that's great because Laylaw have not had senior finals there since 2013 hosted. It's actually a good facility for it. Might want to mow the grass.
Fantastic. And the ground itself is amazing. So, Great
Yep.
idea. I think we brought it up last week that the quality of ground has to be a reflection of a final.
Yep.
And if it's not up to scratch, it's no fault of anyone. It's just the reality of where we are. Like if Divi 1, Divi 2 get Preston, that you've got to have a pretty decent ground to play a final on. And we went there for Good Friday. The atmosphere there is amazing. It's a great facility. The girls behind the canteen do an amazing job. They put on a great spread. So great idea, and I'm glad that it's been rectified.
Oh, excellent. Let's go straight to Divi 2 because there's another huge week going on here. Danger game for St Mary's. They're playing Northcote Park at Northcote Park. Now, whilst Northcote Park can't make finals and sitting 8th, St Mary's are 4th, and they need a win. They really do. If you're going to make any dent in the finals, you need to make a statement this week. Fair call?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an unfortunate team to come up against. Like, I was really disappointed in I was wrapped for Lorimer, but for a team that was really pushing for finals and I thought really had come of age in the second half of the season was really disappointing. So, and coming up against a Northcote Park, putting in performance at the week before, you don't want to be the team playing them the week after. So massive danger game. And as I've said, and I'll continually say, you can't. If you're trying to push for finals, you can't lose to teams below you.
Agree. Well, let's get to the next one. So Thomastown, Watsonia. Now, this is a danger game, Bonners. I'll tell you why. Is because I said about 4 weeks ago, Watsonia are as safe as houses. Lorimer's come out and gone bang, bang, had a couple of wins, and all of a sudden, there's only 2 points between Lorimer and Watsonia, right? So all of a sudden, Watsy, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but, I called it earlier that they weren't. Everyone's used to me getting it wrong. No problems there. But so Watsonia are back in the danger zone. If they drop this game to Thomastown and Lorimer, they've got Panton Hill at home at Lorimer. I mean, all of a sudden, they're on the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. So it makes a fantastic, it keeps such intrigue. I think that's what I said, difference between Divi 2 and Divi 3. I mean, these are danger games. These are intrigue games. This is a final within a final to stay up and continue in Divi 2. It's an amazing thing. And Lorimer going bang, bang and having a home game against Panton Hill, it just adds such intrigue to the end of the year.
I'm going to be watching those games online like absolute no tomorrow. That is a game where, both have very good coaches too. So this is going to come down to the players. It won't be the coaches responsible on this one. Let's move to Lorimer, Panton Hill. So Lorimer's last, Panton Hill's 7th. You're splitting the two of them with the smell of nothing. I told you last week, Lorimer is defensively the best side of the last 4 rounds. It's been a huge turnaround. I can't tip Lorimer. I'm not actually tipping at all any tonight. But I think that's probably Lorimer's most important game of the year.
Probably Panton Hills too. They've got to show that they've actually improved and they've gone forward. So speaking to a couple of the coaches, they're a bit disappointing the way it's been the last few weeks. So I kind of expect Panton Hill to get up, but another game where it's almost a 50-50 right now because had I said Panton Hill, Lorimer at Panton Hill, you'd be pretty comfortable saying Panton Hill, but Lorimer have just created this thing at home where they've won their games and, stranger things have happened and, they've got a sniff to stay up as well. So once you get a sniff to actually achieve something and, we spoke to on the weekend, you've got so much to play for.
Adrenaline plus. Match of the round for me, Bonners, Whittlesea, South Morang. Whittlesea got the job done last time, but this is statement time. And both sides are going to play finals. And for me, they're 2 of the 3 that can win it, them and Diamond Creek. But, I mean, realistically, I reckon South Morang want this pretty hard just so it's 1-1 going into finals time.
Yeah, well, be the first team to inflict a loss this year. But to me, this is a grand final preview. So on neutral ground, it'll be a bit different. I think Whittlesea at home just get the job done just because it is at home. But, once you get the 2 boys back for finals, it's a different kettle of fish. But until they come back, I still think Whittlesea have just got the edge, especially at home.
Now, I'm a man of intelligence, Matt. Is that a fair call? Don't answer it. But
I thought it was rhetorical.
I have the trick for South Morang to win this game. Would you like to know it?
Kick more goals and points than them.
Gumboots. You've had a look at that ground. It is that deep in mud. I reckon if that ball hits the ground, it's going to remind us of the old Whitten Oval back in the 80s, mate, with the clay.
Might not be able to tell who's on which side, so they might get away with it. The white shorts will be black by half time.
It is going to be an amazing game. Who are you tipping on that one?
I think Whittlesea at home, just because it's at home.
Okay, beautiful. Then we get to last one, Diamond Creek versus Lower Plenty. Diamond Creek, they're sitting second on the ladder. Pretty hard to go against them. Lower Plenty, bit up and down, but final spot still up for grab, Lower Plenty, and they've done a pretty good job of keeping themselves in contention, to be honest. Done a great job.
They've done a great job, but I just think what Dymo's done this year has been amazing. I think that they're priming themselves for finals. And I think once you've got to get these games done, you've got to really, assert your authority, make sure you're ready, primed going into finals. They're not games, I don't think, the top three sides, if they're playing each other, is a bit different. When they're playing other teams, I just can't see them losing. There's such a gulf between the top three and the rest, in my opinion. So, I can't see Diamond Creek doing anything but winning this convincingly.
I'm not tipping Lorimer. That's all I'm saying. I'm leaving it at that. Now, Jimmy, you're going to get flogged. All right. I have to do this. He knows.
It's definitely like it's a game you sit there and go, well, if Lorimer are winning at the end, you're not saying, oh, wow, that's an upset. You're sitting there going, that's what they've been building for.
Look, they have every opportunity to win this game. They probably, if I was a bookie, go in favourite, Nelly, to be honest, the way they're playing at the moment, based on their statistics over the last few weeks. But I'm not tipping them. I just won't do it. All right. Now, Bonners, a couple of other things. So in 2 weeks, we have the show. We're doing a live show to interview the panelists and go through what mindset they're going through, because it's a tough job, them picking this side. And all of next week, I am going to flood our social media with centre line, back line, and all of that. I'm going to collate it all in 1 week, and that's from the clubs and everything as well. A lot of effort's going to go into that next week to getting all that data in so we can feed it through to our panel. Big task, isn't it? Big task.
Well, it is a big task, and no one's going to 100% agree with any team. But when you've got the caliber of guys that are actually picking the side, you can't argue a lot with it. And you're always going to miss out on names. You're always going to have ones that people think were better than others, more because they've played with them. But what it is going to be an intriguing conversation in a couple of weeks, because the guys on the panel are just so knowledgeable in local football, premiership coaches, premiership players, current coaches. They've seen it all. So for me, their opinions are probably the most important one, and they'd have a much better understanding of especially the early days, but even the later days, that these guys see it week in, week out. And when you're a player, I reckon sometimes you can fall short of seeing it all, where you're only playing the teams every week. And if some teams have come up from second division the year after, you don't tend to have a great understanding of what they can do. So, but it'll be a great conversation in a couple of weeks, and we can ratify a few players, and there might be some that might have been missed out. So,
bit left of centre here. Matt, have you receded a bit this week? You seem
to
be
I feel like I have, haven't I?
What's going on here? Mate, we could probably get Ashley and Martin as a sponsor on and give you a bit of a
I'm trying the comb over, but it's only going one way. But once I get the haircut, she thins out a little bit. I've been told that as you get a bit older in that family, you just start to see a bit more of your forehead. So I'm catching you, to be fair.
Cut it out. Yeah, it's real beautiful. All right, let's jump into Division 1, because there's a lot going on here as well. Let's start with Bundoora West Preston. Bonners. Bundoora is in relegation zone. They win this, they're home. They're out of relegation zone. West Preston will want a bit more respect, can't play finals. Bundoora did beat them last time convincingly, in pretty good conditions. I know they had a few away, West Preston, but Bundoora is, playing better footy. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, look, it's.
That's it, Westy, mate. I swear, I'm going to ban you.
Sure.
And you fat
I'm
butt.
not sure Westy's the best bloke to be talking about physical appearance, but anyway.
Westy,
Um,
I love you like the brother I never wanted, but you can pick on that whenever you want. That's your last comment you get to put up about me.
Yeah, no, look, I still think West Preston get it done, but I think we said before the show, when you don't have a lot to play with, but play for, where West Preston's in that, they're almost in that in between. They're not going to play finals. They're not going to get relegated. They're just playing it out till the end of the year. For me, you start to find the players that you might want to try a few players as well, see what you've got on your list, see what you need. So big danger game at Bundy as well. So look, I think West Preston get it done, but you know, with Bundoora pretty much a chance to lock it away, I'd be really disappointed if they don't put up the biggest fight of the year.
Bundoora by a point. That's my only tip.
Draw gets them through anyway. So draw gets them safe anyway.
A draw will do. Absolutely. All right. Eltham Banyul at Eltham at Panther Place. Lay down Mazia that one in the Bonners.
You'd think so coming into final. I think everyone's just about back now. Everyone's had the bye. They've had the rest up. They fix up a few of their things, and you know Harrow's got a well-drilled team up there. And I think coming into finals, I think we said they're one of the two real big contenders to take on Heidelberg. So this has got to be a 8, 9, 10 goal win to really start to get yourself right. And they're one of the teams too that have been very guilty of more behinds than points for a lot of the year. So hopefully they can straighten that up, because you just don't want it to be the reason you lose a final.
No, I actually think Banyul is one of the few sides that can rock Heidelberg in the finals, because their good has been amazing.
Yeah,
they've just dropped off a couple of times, but that's okay. You know, you don't win finals.
I think every team bar Heidelberg has had that lull this year. So, you know, get it out of the way, but come into finals, raring to go.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And then we move over to the Footy Factory, Heidelberg taking on Greensborough. Greensborough sitting 5th. We've spoken about Hurstbridge and Greensborough being, you know, sides that are really looking for that, both sitting on 32 points. If Greensborough drop this one, it's starting to get a little tough, I reckon, Bonners.
Not if, but when, I would have thought. Heidelberg have beaten the side sitting second by nearly 100 points 2 weeks in a row. So this is more than an uphill battle. This is an uphill battle on the, you know, Whittlesea footy ground. So I get the feeling it's, and another team just pushing you. They've got to start to push themselves coming into finals. Finals only a few weeks away. Heidelberg will be trying to purr and get everything ready to kick into finals. I think this could be ugly.
I was messing around with some statistics the other day, and I was watching the Heidelberg game. I think it was the second quarter. And in the second quarter, they had 16 uncontested marks in a row.
Yeah.
What the hell? You wouldn't think that's possible.
Is that the way they play, or there's just not enough pressure on the ball carrier? So I think when you're giving that many free pressure's a currency of football. If you're not one-on-one forcing teams to do so, 16's far. Like if they've got 3 and kicks, that easy kicks 3 in a row, you're just not putting pressure. So there's 16 in a row, then that's more to do with the actual pressure coming, because it should never be 2 or 3 uncontested marks in a row. And then you have to force them to go through. So whether teams
be that big, it's a discipline. The one thing I will tell you about Heidelberg, and I know you've seen them yourself this year, you can't help but be in awe of their running game. If you're coaching in Division 1 or any division, doesn't matter, and you watch their replay on a Monday, the way they run in numbers, you remember when you're in juniors, Bonners, or, you probably went through this as well at the Knights, and, Burnsy would have been saying, hey, guys, you got to run in numbers, because if you're running numbers, you got an option left, an option right, and an option behind, sort of arrow the guy from behind. And if you watch them, it's like Vin's coaching strategy is set in 1980 because it worked. He has he's an incredible mind. I'd love to sit at dinner and pick his brain on just footy crap because it will just be verbatim for him. But he is a simple coach. He's not overcomplicating the game. I'm looking for a complicated game style when I watch that game, Bonners.
I just find football's gone that way. It feels like it's completely and utterly complicated when the fundamentals of football have always been the running teams win. So basically we had the three major things that the Knights we had was handball gives, handball receives, and unrewarded running. So the amount of times you ran past a contest and didn't get it. If you were to look at Heidelberg, you see their goals from defensive 50 would probably be that far in front of anyone else. It's not funny. I've spoken about it all year. The way they push off half back, I've mentioned KP so many times, but this is how they kick their goals. They kick it, they run, they handball, they move, and teams just do not have the time to get back. This chip game that some teams play is teams can just flood back. They just flood back so easily. So for me, it's always been get the ball in quickly and you have the chance at a one-on-one contest. As soon as you get the one-on-one contests, the quality of their football team is there's not going to be too many blokes beaten one-on-one. If anything, they may be able to halve the contest, but you're not going to get too many losses for these guys. So the running game and getting the ball in quickly, it's just been a fundamental. And I think you know my number one hate in football is kicking the ball to the boundary line. Yeah, when you've got nowhere else to go. For me, if you're going to kick it wide, you have to be able to go on quickly because as soon as you kick it wide, you've gone from the possibility of 50 metres across the ground to kick to 15. And that's where teams like Heidelberg they'll just ravage you. And they will not, they'll get the ball back. They'll switch to the corridor. They'll kick it up forward. Game over.
Yeah, free promo, no commission for us as usual. Vindatoli runs a program called Vita Footy or Vita Sports, might be Vita Footy.
Football, yep.
If in your off season, if you're a senior player or you're a 19s or 17s player and you want to improve your game, this isn't just focused on kids. If you're not tapping in, I don't know what he costs per session. Say it's 20, 30, $50, doesn't matter. If you're trying to improve your footy and you're not spending some time with him in the off season, you need your head read. Because he is the smartest footballing brain I've met. I've only met him 3 times, Bonners, with you. His brain is, you're in awe. The opposite of Peter Westbury. There's nothing in Westy's head. There's everything in his head. Take that one.
Besides expensive teeth. But if you want any, to be honest, if you kind of want to have a look at what he does for football and how he's changed is you just have to look at his son, Jesse. Jesse played in the under-18 championships a few weeks ago.
On target to be drafted?
Yeah, was one of the names read out that basically was stiff not to make the All-Australian side. He's been in there the last 2 years. He just... And if you go down there, I've done a lot of boxing with him. I've known Vinny for 20-odd years, and I've been able to do some work with him. But the stuff he does and the way he looks at football is you've got to get the basics right. He's always been a believer, and as much as I am as well, which is probably where I got a lot of it from, the fundamental skills of football are so underdone in teams at the moment. The ability to – we have these really, really great game plans. Game plans are fantastic, but they're relying on you being able to execute a skill over and over again. From the games I've seen sometimes is blokes are trying to do it, and I love that they try to do it, but you sometimes just have to swim in your own lane. And if you're not doing the excess stuff, and I could not promote Vinny's program anymore because it's not just Vinny, it's all the guys there. Anthony Rock has done a lot of stuff down there as well. So if you really want to take your footy to the next level, if you're 16, 17 especially, you want to start to get into these teams, you want to play VFL, you want to get into AFL, and as I said, the road to the AFL has changed. Get down and get these things done because skills for me is still the one thing in football that has, I don't reckon, has improved.
I just think I've watched, I reckon, between 50 and 70 games of footy this year, Bonners. And by far, watching Vinny last week on the replay, He is so simple in his strategy. I'm sure there's a lot of complicated crap behind, but he makes it simple for his players. It's like it's a keeping off game. Hold possession until you've got the right option. Challenge yourself, back yourself. But, gee, they run in numbers when they spill it. Anyway, let's move to the next one, Bonners.
Just have a look at the quality that's kicking the football, though. So, like they're not.
Who have they got? No one. KP, he's got nothing going for him. I don't mean that, Kip. I love you. So Montmorency, North Heidelberg, match of the round for me, mate. In Divi 1, that's a big game. It's so what have you got? Second versus third. We've got points separating the two, nothing. Percentage separating the two is about 20%, with Mont having the wood up there. But percentage is going to mean nothing if you don't have enough points. Parker, the machine, Heatley will come out. Brock Cherkop, our little Russian friend, will probably steal a couple of Parker. But Montmorency would have signed up to be second on the ladder with a couple of games to go. And, for the amount of guys they lost overseas during the season, Bonners, they're a mate, I say this, their history in finals in September is pretty crappy, but I just can't help but feel, them and Daniel, they could beat them. They're the one that have got closest to them, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And look, Monty at home's a different kettle of fish. They're a different breed at home. It's it's one of the grounds that, for me, it's one of the two biggest home ground advantages in local footy because the dimensions are just so different. So at home, I reckon they do it and they do it pretty well. What I will say, though, is on the smaller grounds, and we talk about Parker every week, but his ability to take the big marks will have a lot to say about it. So, little Brocky, running around the forward line, I'm not sure if Boom is playing back this week, but
I don't think finals.
I think they're just nursing him through. But these young, plucky North Heidelberg boys, though, they're one of the teams that another team, you just do not want to play them. They just don't go away. They keep plugging away. What Heats has got them doing down there is fantastic. And these young kids are the ones that are shining through. So I would think Monty get it done by about 3 or 4 goals, but it'll be a cracking game.
I'm not doing much tipping this week, but I reckon, honestly, Brock Cherkop kicks the goal after the siren to get up by 2 points. That's my mail. See, you get a lot of love when you come on the show. You get a lot of
absolutely.
McLeod, Hurst Bridge. McLeod could make a statement. They got a new coach coming. They'll have new direction. They'll have fresh thoughts. Can they get over Hursty and put the pressure on Eltham and Bundoora as well?
No. One answer, no.
Okay.
No, Hursty have to win this. They can't go into a final series. Yeah, they're serious about their football this year. Them and Banyul have made massive strides this year, but it'll kind of feel like it'll be all for nothing if it falls short at the end of the year. So these are games they've got to put them to bed, and they've got to put them to bed early because plucky sides at the end of the year, mate, they've got not much to lose.
Yeah,
you just can't give them an inch.
No, I tend to agree. Now, we don't have a Sunday show. That's the end of the games, Bonners. We don't have a Sunday show this week. I've got a week of leave to do some study, so I won't be able to do Sunday. You've got some family commitments. We'll just head into Wednesday again, and we'll have another show like this dedicated, talking results for half of it and then talking about the following week. It is the tight end of the season, Bonners, and it's all coming down to the end of it. Don't forget, we're going to have a lot of data going up this week about nominating your players, and we want the clubs involved for the yesteryear versus today side. There's a hell of a lot going on in the background as we head into the live show in 2 weeks for that, and then we have our end of year grand final show as well. Bonners,
one thing, let's do I've seen this a few times. I want your Monday headline from the weekend's games. What is Monday's headline?
Monday's headline currently is this bloke's about to get punched in the head. Kinder back next week. That's why you're what a dickhead. It's actually funny, Westy, for once. It's a funniest thing.
The funny part is he failed Kinder.
He's still in it. That's why he knows when it goes back. What's my Monday headline? My Monday headline is Bundoora safe.
That was one of my two. The other one for me is Lorimer throws spanner in works.
Oh, I love it. All right, well,
So-
we're going to run with whichever one's relevant. If none of them are irrelevant, we'll just go with Heidelberg's Football Factory under investigation for peptides. We'll go with that one. After I give him a sprouse up and promote his business, and all good. We might try and have a chat to Vinny before the end of the season, just about Vita, nothing else. Try and get him on for 5 minutes. So hang on. Here's your headline. Statement. I know what the statement would be. Peter Westbury barred from club for 3 years for drinking Foster's Light.
No, look, if I can, I might even try and get out there and see if we can do an interview with Vinny, and I can put it up. So
that'd be an awesome interview. Be a great interview.
I'll going into finals. I'll have a chat to him and just see if we can go through it all.
Might even try and catch up with him in the off season down there and do some coverage. All right, guys. Well, and we won't see you the next Wednesday night. Hopefully, the internet at the studio's back up. And until next week, keep kicking goals. Thanks for joining us.
See you, Joes.